Well guys, I apologize. Today my battery died on my camera there, and I only got to catch a couple while recording, but it gave me a chance. Got back, got everything done. Kind of show you what I was using today, some few things. I started out, basically I was crappie fishing, brush piles, and they were probably 15 foot of water down to 20 foot of water, and casting into them, bringing it back up slowly, and then kind of hitting the actual brush piles. I mean, you're going to get hung up, but kind of tapping it and slowly bringing it back to you, slow as you can anyways. And of course, when you're that deep, I like to put a split shot about 4 or 5 inches above it, so it gets down there just a little bit faster and you don't have to sit there and wait as long. But I started out using the red and black chartreuse. I wasn't really having much success on it. Sometimes this is actually my go-to crappie here on these lakes and hot springs here, Lake Hamilton and Lake Ouachita and Lake Catherine. But this is what ended up doing it. And this actually, I catch more crappie, more fish on this little bait here. It's got just a black pretty much all over and just a little green belly. That's about it. Just that little bitty belly's green. And I catch the most on this. I think you can get Bobby, I think it's a Bobby Garland, but now I don't do Bobby Garland because I can't find this particular color with just a little bit of green belly. And I use Arky. Next package. But I use Arky. Well, that's what it's called. I don't know if you can read it or not, but that's what it is. And it does really good. It's that little action there, that little tail action that, I mean, it really gets them going. Also, you got to use these. You have to use nibblers. I mean, well, I call them nibblers, but they're just called nibbles. But these little pink deals, you just put it on the end of your hook, and I'll show you here. I mean, and the pole I'm using, it's just a spinning rod, 7 foot, ultra light. It's a Shakespeare, the Micro Series. I mean, it's a cheap little pole, but I tell you what, you can absolutely feel every single thing on this pole. The lightest nicks, the lightest hits, you can feel it. I mean, you know exactly what you're touching. If you're coming across a log, if you're on brush piles, bringing it back to you. Of course, you know, you can feel the hits of kind of the solo hits sometimes of crappie, but you can absolutely feel everything. It's amazing. Like I said, I think it's like maybe $24, and then I put the Fluger Try-On Series reel on it, the spinning reel, and I think this is the TRI 20. So it's a small spinning reel, and it works perfect with this reel. I mean, absolutely perfect. It's light, has a good balance. I mean, it's probably one of the better poles that I've found that I like to fish with. It's super sensitive, and it's an ultra light for fishing for crappie and brim. If you're going to be casting, I mean, of course, if you see the standing timber, you're probably going to use a 10-foot pole and jig down on it. But, I mean, of course, this is how I have it rigged up. You can see that there. There's my split shot. And then there's my little clasp right there. And then there's the jig. And the pink head. I don't know why, but the pink head. I always do pink heads. I don't know if it's because I do pink head and then I put that pink nibbler on there. But I'll tell you what, it works out though. Basically you just take that pink nibbler pop it on there like that, and it's going to float on the water coming through. And because once you get it, it has a smell to it. A power bait makes a Berkeley power bait, but I mean it has a smell that I guess some fish like. But like I said, I've always done the best with pink. But basically, that's what I've done. We caught 3 crappies. It wasn't great. We caught 3 crappies, 4 brim, and some white bass. But we've had a lot of rain. I don't know if you are familiar with hot springs or not, but what it is, we've got a huge river system, which is the Ouachita River, and Ouachita River feeds into Lake Ouachita, and then Lake Ouachita feeds into Lake Hamilton, and Lake Hamilton feeds into Lake Catherine, and then after Catherine, the Ouachita River system starts up again. Well, we've had in the month of May, and this is the second day of June, but the entire month of May, we've had about 17 inches of rain. And so Ouachita has stayed in flood pool this entire month. And so when Ouachita is in flood pool, they draw out of it constantly. And so a few days ago, the water temperature on Lake Hamilton was 80 degrees. And it dropped to 69 degrees, I mean overnight, because it's a power plant above Hamilton where Ouachita is, and that's a power plant. And so they generate electricity, and so all that water's coming out of the bottom. And so, I mean, it is ice cold. And so it's been pretty rough conditions. I'll be glad when the rain stops and kind of levels out and we can get to a kind of organized pattern. But we'll get back to it, and let me know if you have any questions or whatnot on what I've used and how I use it and what I do. Get over here. Well, ain't that bad.